Part of my job as a VC is to meet with as many promising founders as humanly possible. And as you can imagine, we can only invest in a small percentage of those founders that we actually meet with. So what makes a founder stand out? What ideas are great? In this video, I'm going to touch on some of these questions, and I'm also going to give my personal tips on fundraising as someone who's raised millions of dollars as a startup founder. And now being on the VC side, I've already noticed quite a few things. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I reveal my number one trait that I look for a successful founder. And yeah, let's get right into it. Cold today, and I know, surprise, it's really cold in Boston, but I swear it's been much colder than I've expected and experienced in the past. There's been more snow, been more wind, but yeah, now I gotta get to my desk and work on some fundraising pitch deck stuff that's pretty urgent, so I gotta get to that. So I made some great progress this morning on that fundraising pitch deck that I said I was working on. Basically, we're just in the process of closing our next fund, and it's right there, but there are just some little tweaks that I need to make because those pitches are ongoing. Right now, I was also just checking in on all of the packages that I'm getting for the studio. Really excited. We have a guest coming next week who I'm really excited about talking to, and that just means we had to expedite the whole studio making process. I knew that when I came here that I wanted to set up some sort of podcast studio that I can regularly go to and talk to like AI visionaries and also founders in AI building cool new things. So this is going to be awesome. I'm going to have cameras mounted in different locations, and it's going to feel like a nice little intimate conversation. And we get to have people here in person to talk to, which I'm really excited about. But back to the discussion in this video. The first thing that Link looks at and that I personally ask about is the founding team. When I'm talking to a founder, I want to know who that person is working with. Do they live and breathe startups? What projects have they worked on in the past? How long do they know each other? And yes, I'm intentionally talking about founding teams and more than one person because we do feel as if that founding team needs to be more than one for it to be successful. I'm not saying there has to be more than one co-founder per se, but that founder has to have already convinced another person to be a part of that founding team, maybe a founding engineer, but more than one person is needed to help with the ebbs and flows of a startup and for progressing that company forward. With regard to how the founders know each other, it's important for us, important for me to see that the founding team didn't just meet yesterday at a random class, right? There's big bonuses in my head for if those people are fraternity brothers, maybe they're high school long life friends throughout college, sorority sisters, things like that, that really bond those peoples together. Because at the end of the day, the founders are who will be building and iterating on the product, at least initially. So we need to see that they are capable of building it themselves, and they're also capable of working well with each other in that context of a startup. I guess it's not a KJ Day in the Life of a VC vlog if I don't have Link lunch. That was really good. I didn't think I was a chili guy, but Karen made some really good chili, so we had that. Today talked a little bit about the Trump AI investment that is coming into play. I think in general, it's just a really good sign that people are realizing the importance of AI right now, and it just means that we're right in our efforts to double down on actually investing in the best AI talent that we can possibly invest in. And with AI, there's an unlimited number of ideas that you can actually execute on, that you can build off of. AI can even help you iterate on said ideas. And that gets me to my next point, which is around idea and traction. I love when founders can see a technology and then their mind starts going about all the different use cases and the ways that they can add value to other people's lives. That's just thinking about it through an entrepreneurial lens. But how do we know, and how could you know if an idea is actually good and that it actually provides value to the people that you intended to provide value to? Well, that's where it comes into traction. And in these terms, I'm talking about traction in terms of actual paying customers. Initially, I'm not even talking about the sheer amount of customers and the sheer amount of money that people are paying. So I'm not even talking about ARR, MRR, or just any sort of recurring revenue. I'm more so talking about, do the people that you intend to use this product, are they willing to pay for it? As a founder, if people are paying for the product that you're giving out, then there's clearly some value that you're providing, right? Especially if you consider that there are so many other options out there. And as an investor, it's great validation to see that people are already willing to pay for said product. And I know I just said to not focus on the sheer dollar amount, but having substantial traction in terms of, say, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars worth of deals is obviously really great. And then it makes it a really intriguing investment on our side. And to get to those larger numbers, a lot of the times that means that your initial customer is going to be some sort of business because they have larger budgets to actually pay for services like these. If you think about any normal consumer app that you interact with on a day-to-day basis, you'll see that there's a monthly subscription. Even if you go all the way to the high end, it's probably going to be around $100. Most likely it's going to be $10 a month or $20 a month, something like that. And it just takes so many more customers to actually buy in and use that app for you to get to those numbers. If you were just to, say, go straight to a business and they can immediately give you, say, a 4-figure contract, a 5-figure contract. So I'm not saying that every successful founder only works on B2B businesses, which is business to business, but it is easier to gain that initial traction when you get buy-in from a business because they can give you larger contracts. Now I've got to go up to a meeting. We're just discussing the different candidates for a CEO position for one of our portfolio companies. We're helping them actually source their new CEO. And yeah, I just need to get my input there.
Hi KJ, we have our team coming in.
Got finished with those 2 meetings that were on my calendar. The first one, we were trying to figure out which candidates were the best ones for a specific CEO role that we're trying to fill, but then also more broadly, how we can utilize, say, AI, our connections, and kind of work into our workflow a way where we can get candidates really fast for whatever needs that we may have. So, interesting conversation. I love being able to use AI within our work itself because it saves so many hours and gets us really quality results, of course vetted by us, and that's the process that we're going over right now. And then this next meeting was meeting with a founding team. There was actually 7 of them on the call, so it was interesting having so many different people and opinions and answers coming my way, but I think it was an interesting team, and we'll move forward in the due diligence process and see what happens there. Right now, I do need to finish up those slides that I was working on at the beginning of the day, and I have a sync with the rest of the deal team that's here in Cambridge, so we could go over some of the new developments also. So I just got out of the deal team meeting, and honestly, meetings like that, like I just love being part of this organization and having the chance to look at these founding teams at this stage and evaluate them, see what we like, see what we don't like. But pretty much in these meetings, we try to get all the companies that we talked to over the last week or so, put them up for contention to be part of our partner meeting if they meet a certain threshold. And from there, we can get the opinions of the broader team on whether we want to invest in said team. Okay, so I promised a discussion around what I think is the most important trait a founder could have. And let me preface this by, of course, the founder has to be more than what this trait is. But what stands out to me right off the bat is a founder's ability to sell. And by selling, I mean, can they sell their ideas in a clear and concise way to me, an investor? Can they sell this idea to customers? Can they even sell it to employees that they're trying to bring on to their team? And that's why selling is so important. The ability to sell bleeds into traction, their ability to fundraise, and building that team out. Like, unless two founders came up with an idea together in the same room, one of those founders had to be able to sell that idea to the other founders who are going to devote a lot of time and energy into building out this product. There's also an aspect of boldness and bravery that comes with the ability to sell. Having the comfort and ability to sell means that the founder is more resilient to no's, is more confident in their idea, and has the emotional intelligence to express their vision in a way that allows the other people around them to understand and resonate with that idea. This is also something that bleeds into a strong social presence or virality, right? If someone is able to sell, that means that they are also probably more thoughtful in the way that they talk to people at events or present themselves, present their company when giving pitches, for example. And more likely than not, if they're able to portray themselves really well in person, they're also able to portray themselves really well online through the different platforms, say LinkedIn or X, which is important also when you're building out a company so that people actually know about the company you're building. And then strictly talking about sales, it's important in the whole fundraising process. We can give a check for when you're early stage, but what happens in later rounds? A founder's ability to sell also gives us a better idea of whether or not they'll have successful funding rounds in the future, right? Of course, there are outliers and ideas that are just so good, products that are so great that it doesn't matter about a founder's ability to sell. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all trait, but in my head, if I see a person that's able to sell what they're providing, show me and give me the trust that I need in their team, then that just goes a long way right off the bat. And of course, we have to couple this with a strong idea. We have to couple this with a strong technical team, a close-knit team, and like all the other things that come into the due diligence process. But like first impression wise, I think this is something that I noticed right off the bat.
So I know I've been giving my personal thoughts on what makes a founder or a founding team investable, but I'm actually going to go ask Boaz, our other principal on the team, about his thoughts. So Boaz, for you, what makes a founder or founding team stand out?
That's a good question. I think if I just see they're super bonded, that's one thing that really makes you see the interaction dynamics of the team. That's one really strong indication. I love hearing from founders that they're actually spoken with customers and are obsessed with what customers care about. And I think one more thing is I love the confidence, but kind of humbleness. That's a great indication from actually being coachable founder. Not because we know so much, but because they'll need to listen to so many different stakeholders and filter and really make tough decisions all the way. So yeah, it's the first things that stand out when I meet a team person.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
There are still a couple of things that I want to finish up, hopefully in the next hour or so, maybe longer, about that pitch deck that I was talking earlier in the video about. As always, you're true ones if you made it to this part of the video. Comment excited for the next vlog if you made it this far, so I know you've made it. And as always, stay positive, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one.